Hello.
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 Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Let's have an Liberty City burn it to the ground.
Does the word duh mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds.
Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
John, would you stop worrying about the punk?
That's my name.
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing for your listening pleasure.
Here it is. Here we go. Episode 95. 95, Mike. That's 5 away from 100. I don't know if you did that quick math in your head as well.
I was able to do that. I used a calculator, but I was able to
You
do
were
it.
able to do it with assistance.
I always require assistance. I'm pretty slow.
95, Mike. I know I say this. I feel like I've been saying this a while. Wow, that's a lot of episodes. But wow, it's a lot of episodes. 95.
It is. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of years, a lot of things happening.
Like when we see 95-year-old people, we're like, wow, that person's been around a while.
I don't think we equate episodes of podcasts to 95 years of life.
We don't?
We do one a month. So it's like 95 months.
It's like dog years.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They relate like dog years. Anyways, it's episode 95. And as we hit this 95th episode, we do have a little bit of a, what would you call it, Mike?
A crossroads?
Yeah, a crossroads. Yeah. That's good. A crossroads. Yeah. And what is that crossroads? Well, the crossroads is that I'm going to step away for a little bit. Just some things coming up in life, changes, living, LIVIN. And I just can't give my all to the High Fives podcast for the next little bit. So I'm going to step away. And after 9 years, it's just time to take a little break. So that's what I'm going to go do. But I am so grateful for this thing that we created. And like beyond just the podcast, beyond just the 95 episodes, we created a community really that spans the globe, like the entire globe, which is crazy when you think about it, but it is true. And we've created new friendships through that. And there have even been High Fives meetups over those 9 years, which is kind of crazy, right? Not just Mike and I meeting up in real life, but like,
well, we don't do that.
Actually,
we live minutes away, and we don't do that.
No, we don't.
Except for when you dumped me on the podcast. You did take me to a nice lunch.
I like how you characterize it as dumping you.
Oh no, it was totally like dumping me. It was like
it wasn't. I wouldn't have spent that much. I wouldn't have spent that much time in the lead up if I were dumping you.
It was kind of like, you know, in that Seinfeld episode when they meet the guy dumping at the cafe or whatever. There's a guy dumping a girl. That's what it was like. I was like, "Oh, mate, this is awesome. We're going for lunch." You're like, "Oh, there's something I need to tell you. I'm out." And then I was like, "What?" And then you were like, "It's over, man." And then I cried a little. And then you were like, "It's okay. It's not you. It's me."
None of that.
And then I went, "It's always true. It's always me then."
None of that happened.
None of that happened? Did you not take me out for lunch and dump me?
No, we split the bill. I didn't take you out.
You didn't even buy me lunch. You just dumped me.
Man, let it all out on the podcast. We'll do it live, he said. Anyways, I'm going to take a step back. Mike's going to keep going, but it's been awesome. I can't believe I'm saying it's been 9 years, and I've been saying it all year, but like truly it's been a long time, but a great time. And I've discovered a whole lot of new music thanks to this community, not just Mike and but also all the listeners that have given lists over the years too. So big thanks for that. Mike, do you want to tell the people what your plan is?
Well, the plan is to keep the podcast going in some form.
So that's great.
I don't 100% know how it's going to work yet, but by January, when that episode comes out, you will know. I may have a new Nate with me, kind of like when they replaced Chrissy on Three's Company.
You'll have Terry joining you soon.
Terry will come, and if Terry doesn't work, there'll be the third one who I can't. Cindy was the third one.
That's right.
And they never replaced Janet. So in this, I'm Janet.
You're Janet. Yeah, that's right. You're Janet. I'm Chrissy. I like that. So we don't normally do an episode in December. Usually this is reserved for Mike's big 98 song extravaganza. And I think you're still doing that, right? Are you still doing the big extravaganza?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do that. I have a little idea. I might just make a Spotify playlist or Apple Music playlist with just albums I liked, because if I have time, if I don't have time to do the episode, because I put a little bit more into this episode and I would have been recorded already by now. So we'll see. I got a lot on the plate now. I got to learn how to edit. I got to learn how to edit a podcast.
It's not that hard.
You do a pretty fucking good job, Nate.
It's pretty easy. So with this episode, we decided to do top 5 songs about pals.
Yeah, because that's what our podcast is all about. Really, at the heart of it, it's like you and me being buddies. I don't think really people even care that much about the music. I mean, obviously people care about music that we pick. I hope anyway. Otherwise, we're wasting a large chunk of the podcast. But at the heart of it, the whole podcast just solidified our friendship over the years and like just forced us to do things, which is really hard to do when you're pushing in your 40s or whatever. It's harder and you've got life commitments. This really forced us to keep our friendship going on another level.
Yeah,
so
totally.
That's the thing I'm most grateful for the podcast. Don't get me wrong. I love everything about it. I love all the people and everything. I love doing it. But the thing I love most is hanging out with Nate. So that'll be tough. And that's what this podcast is about. So that's why I was thinking this episode should be about pals or friends or friendships.
Well, I love you too, Mike.
I didn't say I loved you.
I know,
I said I loved
but that's the closest you'll ever get. I know what you mean.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If you were right here, I'd give you a big hug, as much as I hate doing that.
Wow, really? Like you feel that in you right now? You feel a hug?
It's easy for me to say behind a computer screen.
But you said it. So I'm going to cash it in at some point.
Excellent. That means you're going to come see me.
It does.
With your busy schedule.
It does. So moving on. We do the listening part of the podcast now, and we're not going to just change the format at the last moment, but we are changing it a little bit in the sense that we're not going to do what we're listening to right now. We're going to do the top 5 of the year because, again, we don't do this episode in December, and it feels like it makes sense. But I am pulling this list together a little early this year. Like I usually wait until the second last week of December, maybe even the last week of December. Maybe, I don't know. I felt like I was a little rushed in picking this list, but I feel good about my choices.
I'm pretty excited to see what you have because I found this year there was, again, it just seemed like there was so much that came out that I was like, when I was trying to come up with this, I was trying to narrow it down to what would be 5.
Yeah.
Which is obviously hard for me anyways, and because it seemed like rushed again, like because we kind of just threw this part together and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I'm really curious to see what you came up with. I wonder if we have any crossovers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that too, Mike. I don't know. This year felt like there was a lot of music and a lot of good stuff, but it was an easy top 5 to pull together, at least for me.
I do agree that there's a lot. I think my problem with this year is there was a lot of good stuff. Whether there was stuff that was like, and it's going to sound shitty, but whether there was something like spectacular that stood out was maybe a little bit harder for me. There was lots of albums that I'll like continually go back to and love listening to and songs and stuff. But there was very few that were like, oh, this is going to be like timeless for me.
Yeah.
So I think that was the hard part in making the 5. Like I could make probably a list of 100 albums that people should check out that were really good and people might like and I like, but whether these are like definitively like amazing to me, it was a little bit tougher.
I think that the ones that I went back to over and over again, because I find it harder and harder to go back to music anymore. Like for the amount that, you're served up, for the amount that, comes out, I find it really challenging to go back. I'm usually just listening to the kind of the newest stuff. So if I went back to something, 3, 4, 5 times, that's probably an album I'm going to continue to go back to.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think that is one of the major downfalls of streaming and the ability to grab stuff.
Totally.
Is that like every week there's like 10 albums you want to check out and you're like, oh, and they're worth checking out.
Yeah.
And then you forget to go back to the certain ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I also don't like the way that the libraries work in the streaming platforms. Like I just don't like, how you're downloading and adding to favorites. And I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't love that. I have a system, but I don't love it. And I just realized now, because when everyone was sharing their Spotify thing, and because I don't use Spotify and use Apple Music, Apple's got its own bastardized version of that kind of thing. But what I didn't realize is if you make your own playlists, those don't count as plays. So now that worries me that when I make my own playlist, are those not counting as plays for the band? Because it wouldn't fucking shock me if like that was a way to weasel around paying bands.
Right. Right.
Because what I do is like on Fridays, I go and I make my list of what came out this week, and it's like the weekly playlist.
Right.
And then I add it to the categories of music as if it was in a music store. And that's how I listen to my music.
Right.
So I don't know. I hope I'm not fucking over bands.
It's you, Mike. You are the reason that the music industry has crumbled beneath all the artists' feet. Speaking of dollars, speaking of money, you probably didn't see this, but on because you're not a Spotify guy, but on the year wrapped thing, they had like, depending on who you listen to, if someone in your top 5 would have recorded a video message that said like, hey, thanks for checking us out this year, or thanks for listening, or blah, 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 whatever it was, which I thought was a really cool idea and an enhancement, I think, from last year. But Weird Al, who did not pop up in my top 5 or did not pop up in my Wrapped, but I did see him show up on the socials, and his was like, thanks so much for listening this year. I amounted, 80 million listens on this platform this year, which is pretty good. And what did that convert to? That converted to $12. So
yeah, I did see that, and that's awesome, and it makes me really angry.
Isn't that crazy? 80 million listens get you $12.
I know. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think when we and this is a sidebar, and I guess no one else will really care, but it's our podcast, and it's the last one, so I don't give a fuck. Like when I looked at the Corrupt stuff and we were looking at the numbers, and I was like, oh wow, those are like really good numbers for like bands that are irrelevant now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, we got like $2.
Yeah.
For everything. I couldn't even fucking buy a Slurpee for you to throw at me.
Well, I'll buy that Slurpee and I'll throw it at you. But is that
Sweet.
possible? 80 million and he got $12, or is that just him being facetious?
No, I think he's being slightly facetious, but who knows? Maybe the label took parts of that money too.
Right.
Like who knows? Or publishing and stuff. Like I don't know when you get to that level what exactly how that breakdown works, but either way, artists are getting ripped off, and probably people working at Spotify are getting ripped off. It's probably just some fucking hedge fund that's making some money.
Well, without further ado, the top 5 for the year, according to me, in no particular order. Fights, Scampy Rock was the album. That's a carryover from our June episode of Halfway There. This was my introduction to Boogiecore. Just when you thought you'd thought of all the core variations and variants, nope, there was one more, and it's called Boogiecore, and I love it. This band's all the way from Oslo, Norway. It's raw, it's loud, it's dancey, and has kept me coming back all year long. My other carryover, there's only two carryovers of 5. Co-Defendants, the album This Is Crime Wave. It's a fusion of hip hop, new wave, flamenco, ska, and rock. And it's a new genre, actually, without core in the name, which threw me off straight away. The genre is called crime wave. I am yet to hear anyone else write an album in this genre, but I'm excited to hear it. And sure looking forward to it. This is the project that has Sam King, Fat Mike, and Cheshi Ramos. It's really different. And I think that's what I really liked about it. Kept me coming back. Sad Park, No More Sound, Pure Noise Records. This one came out in July, just shortly after June, if you're following along. This one has stuck with me throughout the year, even made my top 5 on Spotify. So when I was talking earlier about the artists doing the shout outs, that was one I got was Sad Park saying, "Hey, Nate, thanks so much for listening to us this year." Well, he didn't say, "Hey, Nate." It wasn't that specific. It was much more general.
It wasn't like a cameo?
No, it was much more general. But nonetheless, I liked that. I thought it was cool. They are an alternative emo punk band from Los Angeles. This is their 3rd full length. My 4th choice is Spanish Love Songs, the album No Joy. This was really the perfect progression and step past Brave Faces Everyone, which I also loved. This album feels a little bit less angry and maybe more resolved, but it's really the album I was hoping for. Takes more of a lean into the indie rock space, but really with intention. And my last one, this one just came out like maybe a month ago, Mike. Maybe a month ago. We were raving about it on the last episode. Spiritual Cramp, self-titled. It's their 2nd full length or their sophomore album. It is an absolute toe tapper, excellent from start to finish. Sounds borrow from the late 70s, early 80s, working class rock and punk with leans into the Clash and early dub influence. And there you have my top 5 for the year, Mike.
That's a pretty solid one.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a great list, Nathan.
All right.
Would you like to hear what I came up with?
I would love it, Mike. Hit me.
One last time for you, Nathan. Again, like I said, it was hard for me to narrow down, and I didn't use any EPs. Did you find there's a lot of really good EPs this year?
Dude,
like I found there was like a ton.
The EPs and singles, it's too much. They're at a constant. And then I can't differentiate like the single from like what's appearing on the album, and they all do it differently. And let's not talk about it. It.
Sorry. Okay.
I won't. It's very sensitive, Mike.
We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Okay. So in no particular order, the first one is Citizen Calling the Dogs, which I brought up last episode. This album was such a surprise for me, but I keep going back to it, so it had to make my list. Next up, Homefront, Games of Power. This is one of those albums that just seems to age better and better with each listen. It's post-punk, synth-laced. It's a masterpiece that if you told me it came out in the 80s, I'd 100% believe you. I've seen this show up on a few year-end lists, and rightfully so.
Is this the Edmonton band?
Yeah, they're from Edmonton.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, this is their 2nd full length, right?
Yeah.
In as many years, too, right? They put one out last year as well?
Yeah, I don't know if that last one was considered a full length or considered an EP, but I think it's a full length. I have to go back and look at it, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe I haven't seen them. I know I should. Actually, I can't believe it.
We can all believe it, Mike. No one's surprised.
But I keep telling you every time they come, I'm like, we should go see them, and then I'm like, something comes up, and I don't go. And they always put like the Palomino too, which would be a fucking rad venue to see them at.
You're gonna miss out. Pretty soon, they're only gonna be playing the Saddle Dome, and then you'll be kicking yourself.
They're touring with Alkaline Trio and stuff and things like that. Like that's a big jump. So next up, the Hot Mulligan album, Why Would I Watch? I hummed and hawed about putting this one on here because it's so glossy, but it's a good album. It deserves to be on here. It's everything that's good about this band. There's catchy hooks, mathy lines, and it's mixed with pop punk and clever lyrics. So I love it. Here's a band that maybe we haven't talked about, Nate. At number 4, I got Palette Knife and their album New Game.
Nice.
Do you know them?
Yeah, you shared some Palette Knife music with me earlier this year.
I Okay, well, it's just a great emo album with pop punk tendencies. Much like Hot Mulligan, the catchy hooks and clever lyrics make this one a much listen for fans of the genre. And it's a concept album about getting hooked and lost in video games, which is something that I can't necessarily relate to because I'm not big on gaming.
You're not
but
a
I know
gamer, Mike.
No, I kind of tapped out after GoldenEye. I suck at video games that aren't NHL, and even that I fucking suck at now.
Do you call it Chell or do you call it NHL?
I still call it NHL.
Okay.
I think I still call it NHLPA, which is like the term it was in 95 or something.
You weren't good enough to call it Chell.
Nah, I'm not a Chell guy. But anyway, I know how big gaming culture is, so I'm sure this resonates with a lot of
Yeah,
people.
I didn't know that. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it with that in mind.
And my number one, and this would be definitively number one, is Sincere Engineer and Cheap Girls.
Ooh, yeah.
I've gone back to this album a lot. I just love everything about it. I love the lyrics. I love the song structure. It's everything that a punk rock album needs to be for me these days. And I always feel like she's singing about something that relates to me, even though like it's nothing, like just hits right.
Yeah.
Like just hits right all the time.
Yeah, I feel that. This was one I actually just forgot about and could have and should have made my top 5. This is a great, great album for sure. And I think one that's got staying power.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's awesome.
Was it hard to get it down to 5, Mike? That's the question that's on everyone's mind. Was it hard to remove the other 84?
It was very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you toil?
Yeah, I toiled a little.
Yeah.
There was 3 I knew were 100% on here.
Okay.
And then I was like, ugh, but whatever. It's all good.
You're okay. You're happy with your selections.
I'm happy.
All right. Well, let's move on to the list, Mike.
That's exciting.
It's time.
Let's go.
It's time for the list. The top 5 songs about pals. My first song, Mike, actually doesn't really have anything directly to do with pals. This is the one song that, like, in a direct way, it doesn't point to friends, but it does in many indirect ways. You following?
I'm following.
This is an album that I just kind of stumbled upon earlier this year, but it came out in 2022. And oddly enough, this band has been around since like 95. Never heard of them one time. I don't even know if I'm going to pronounce the band's name right. It's Veneray. It's Swedish, I think. So we'll go with Veneray. And the album that this song comes off of is Eurotrash. And the song that I chose is called Summer of 94. And the reason that I chose this song is because this is where it all kind of started for us, for a lot of us. This was like the big bang that started, you know, many people like ourselves down the path of this music, which ultimately would lead to friendships around this music. And a lot of those friendships have sustained and, you know, have been with me throughout my entire life. The guest vocal on this record also comes from Nicola from Millencolin, Ingmar from No Fun at All, and Gear from Adhesive. And, you know, I think which also relates to the fact that, like, you know, here's a song about friends coming together and kind of reminiscing on what it was that started those friendships for them as well. You know, I vividly remember at the time, like being 14 years old and not realizing really how special this moment was, how special this time was. And I'd always wish I'd come through it, you know, in the first wave, like thinking the first wave of punk rock was so much more important. And we were just kind of on this like second wave that didn't really mean anything.
Nate, we would have been eaten alive if we came in that first wave.
Totally. We were far too soft to be in that first wave.
Yeah.
But
none of us were cutting ourselves or like
But there was a lot of romance associated with it, right? Versus kind of being in it at the time. And I mean, now, you know, and probably over the last 10 years with documentaries that are being made of that time of like, you know, the mid 90s and talking about what an important time that was. And, you know, I feel so grateful now to have not only experienced, you know, that moment in time, but really to have lived it. You know, like we were really active and part of our local scene, which I think a lot of, you know, the friends we've made through music like this were, whether it was here in Calgary or whether it was, you know, somewhere else in maybe a very different part of the world. But local scenes were everywhere, you know, as a result of kind of this big bang. And so most that probably listen to this podcast, I would say probably have a very similar experience, which also brings us together. This is the song I chose. Again, not like a direct call out to friends, but I think it really encompasses where a lot of friendships came from and really where this friendship between you and I came from.
Here's the funny thing. So the song I picked, the first one, deals with a similar topic.
Interesting.
Look at us.
Look at us.
The band's The Copyrights. The album is Make Sound, and the song is Planet Earth 1994. So I don't think I need to talk about the Copyrights if you're listening to the podcast. We bring them up enough. If you haven't heard them, check out The Copyrights. Great pop punk band. Great family of bands too. I picked this song for much of the similar reasons. It just reminded me of simpler times. And like Nate was describing, there's a sort of a symbolism for 1994, especially for our age group and the importance of that year being formative in so much music and so much of what we became later on in life. And I think it's kind of in the general time that Nate and me met. I mean, I think we met in 95 actually, but the idea of meeting there and there's this idea of hanging out, listening to music, and thinking we were quote unquote too punk rock for that really resonates. And there's a lot of discussion in the song about that. We never did drink Listerine. I don't know, maybe Nate did. I didn't. I was more of a Rockaberry Cooler kind of guy. Chugging the 2-liter Rockaberry Cooler as fast as you can.
Gross.
Yeah, it is gross. Anyway, just a great song, and like Nate kind of nailed everything that I wanted to talk about with that era and how that is a symbol for friendships, and I thought was perfect for this podcast.
That's funny though. I think that like this song that I chose kind of celebrates Green Day and Offspring, which I probably wouldn't have been able to handle in 94. I would have been like, come on, you know, like relating back to the idea of like being too punk for things. And
you definitely were too punk for things. They literally say something about listening to Green Day, pretending that you didn't like it or something like that.
Nice.
It's funny because that did come up in our group friend chat, nothing to do with high fives, but we were talking about how when Green Day came on the Dookie tour, how some of us went and some of us were like, oh, they weren't punk enough for me by that time.
Totally.
Which is hilarious to think. But
yeah, that is funny.
When you're a kid, you say stupid shit.
It's crazy that album's 30 years old and like still stands up as
I love that album.
Such a great record.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Summer of 94, Veneray and
The Copyrights, Planet Earth 1994.
It was the year when punk broke again. Every sweet
What is that?
My computer.
Oh,
Is it too loud? Is it coming through the mic?
I don't know. What is it though? Like that's just
Like
the sound it makes.
The fan on it, I think. I think it's like overheating.
I think this is not your new computer though, right?
No, this is the one I'm always using. But
Okay.
I'll have to, when I do the new season, I think I'll try it. Hook up my computer.
When you have a new season. Oh, I see.
Well, I won't.
That's
I
when
won't be
you'll
able-
get the new one. We use the shit one while you're around, Nate. But once we get the new season, that's when we're gonna get the new computer.
I could never edit out a fan. You can.
Wow. How long did you make me wait at the beginning of this recording? Because of your
Like fucking
old
30
ass
minutes.
computer?
Yeah, it was like 30 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Well, hopefully whatever you do next won't have, it won't have those wait times because you'll have your new computer working then.
Oh, I'm going to do the new one in person just to piss you off. There'll be snacks and everything.
Wow. All right. Back to business, Mike.
All right.
My second song, Mike, is a song about being in the shit and needing to lean on your pals for support. You know what that's all about? You know what
Sure.
being in the shit's like and needing your pals?
I always need my pals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're hitting more of those moments in our lives, at this point. I feel like, once you graduate high school, it's kind of a pivotal moment. You're kind of mid-20s to late 20s. I think for our generation, that's when most people were kind of getting married, mid-20s, late 20s. By early 30s, late 20s, people were having kids, more pivotal moments. And then there's kind of a lag until you hit your 40s. And then it's like jobs, I guess more kids maybe, and like marriages. And sometimes the marriages don't always work. So, yeah, I feel like we're kind of hitting that stage of our lives, hitting that stage of the progression of life. And like this song kind of hits in that space.
I do know. I do know well.
Yeah. It's by a band, Mike. I don't know if you figured that out, that it would be by
you
a
haven't done that
band.
for a while. What a throwback.
It's by a band that always kind of has been one of those bands where you can see like the friendship between the bandmates. Like you just feel like those guys are probably all like buddies on the outside of this band.
I love that. Like that's something that attracted me to punk rock, I think, especially like DIY punk rock, is you always felt like these were buddies together. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, take for example, Kiss. In my head, Kiss, when I first started liking Kiss when I was a kid, I was like, oh, they're best buddies. But by the time I could really think about it, I was like, oh, there's just a fucking job to these guys. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And that's like the majority of big bands, they're not friends, but like in punk bands, until you get to a certain level, you can feel like they're buddies, and then they're doing this like as a camaraderie. That's the word, camaraderie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I think punk rock's one of those types of genres where you do have a lot of people come together as friends, and they probably stay friends. I don't want to say like, every band's like that, but I think a lot of bands are like that. Like even looking at like a band like Green Day, right? Like those guys still seem like buddies.
Yeah, like it doesn't seem to have changed them. I'm sure that there's different bands and there's different levels when you get to certain things that change you and you can't get past stuff or whatever, but that happens in real friendships too. So,
yeah. So not a band quite as big as Green Day, but they've probably been around, or some of them have been friends for at least as long as, if not longer. Tim and Matt have been together since the 80s. The band is Rancid. The song comes from Indestructible, their sixth studio album, which came out in 2003. And the song, Mike, is Fall Back Down.
Oh, that's a good one for this. I would have never even thought of this one. Good choice, Nathan.
Thanks, Mike. I like it when I surprise you, when I give you a little jolt of surprise. It really energizes me.
Good, because it's late, so you need all the energy you can get.
It's like drinking a liquid death all in one big slurp.
Isn't liquid death just water?
Oh, I don't know. It sounds like an energy drink.
No, I think it's just water.
Okay, so it's not like that at all. Why would they call it liquid death?
So like when you're drinking water, it would seem like it's cooler than drinking like what's a water brand?
Evian?
Yeah.
Shout out Evian. Okay,
Looking for new sponsors.
Is that what it is? Water? Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Liquid death's just water.
All right. So let me take it back and say
No,
it's
no,
not
I like
like
it.
that
I like
at
it.
all. It's like shotgunning a Monster Energy drink, Mike.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
That's a good visual. It's the kind of thing you do before you hit the motocross.
Hell yeah, bruh.
All right. Is it my turn? It is.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've just been shooting water like that. It doesn't do anything for me. The song I picked is from a band that's from East Van. The band is Living with Lions. The album is Make Your Mark, and the song is Dude Manor.
Nice.
This song's an ode to that house, apartment, or space where you forge those bonds as friends. I feel like most people have this place, and for me, it was our friends had this place called 109, which felt like I lived there, even though I didn't. I don't think I even ever slept there. And I was for sure banned from there for a hot minute for lighting fireworks off. And my children's kids for life. I did also have a birthday party that I threw there, even though I didn't live there, without them knowing, which didn't go over well.
Did you invite them?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
It was actually after our CD release for our compilation.
So it wasn't like I'm having a party at your house and you can't come.
I think after you guys played or Five Spot, I got on the mic and said, "Hey, we're having a party." All I know is that Dave came home from out of town, and there was like somebody in his bed, and he was not stoked.
Oh, that's where that story comes from.
Anyway, but like we've all had that. I think that's synonymous with growing up, especially in like band scenes. Like there's always some house like after high school or whatever where the first friends are roommates, and you just have all these shitty stories that really aren't funny to anybody else but your little group of friends. But that idea of nostalgia kicks in for everybody. Like we also had the Jewel Kids house, which is sort of similar in Bonavista, which is hilarious because that's where I live now. And it's like the most suburban, like bland neighborhood you could ever live in. And then these fucking skitty kids were just throwing parties all the time and passing out on the lawn. I can't even imagine now if that happened to me and I came home and I was just like, fucking guys wearing fuck. Anyway, that's sort of like the idea when I got to listening to this. Is the song is about their house getting destroyed or like being demolished or condemned or whatever.
Nice.
And I just thought it was a good fit for this episode.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like there's always that house or there's always that car too, right? The first one who got their license.
Oh yeah, that's a great example of it.
Right.
Yeah. Or where you're jammed for like or the first place you went to shows, whatever. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Like just your hangout.
Yeah, but there's always the first and there's always that one that means the most, right?
Yeah.
Fall Back Down, Rancid, and
Living with Lions, Dude Manor.
Don't worry about me, I'm gonna make it alright. Got my enemies crossed nailed in my side. I take a beer situation, gonna make it right. In the shadow of the darkness, I stand in the light. See, it's our style to keep it true. I had a bad year, I've gone through. I've been knocked out, beat down, black and blue. She's not the one coming back for you. She's not the one coming back for you. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. It takes disaster to learn a lesson. You're gonna make it through the darkest night. Some people betray more than cause treason. Wanna make everything alright. vision is no longer hazy. I'm very lucky to have my crew. They stood by me when she flew. I've been knocked down, beat down, black and blue. She's not the one coming back for you. She's not the one coming back for you. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend.
Mike, this next one is pretty straightforward. There's not a lot to dissect here. This is just a song about the tight friendship that exists within this band. They even call each other out by name in this song, which I actually really love. It's very nostalgic to the days past, you know, where you just call up a buddy and you just go out. You know, there's no checking. There's no, there's no work. It's just like, hey, do you want to go check out a show tonight? Yeah, let's go. Great. And you're there.
I miss those days.
Right?
Didn't have to schedule 2 months in advance to maybe hang out. Oh, we'll see if we can actually make this work.
Yeah.
And then hope that nothing shows up that day that where you have to cancel.
Yeah.
And then you have to leave early because you're like, man, I know I said I'd be here for like an hour, but like I really got to get home.
You have to leave early. I was looking to be there for an hour. I got to leave after 35 minutes now.
Shit happens, man.
Well, yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. A little more extreme, I think, in your mind. But yeah, it seems like a lifetime ago when things were kind of that easy and that available, that spontaneous. This another band that genuinely seems to be a bunch of buds. They've been around since '89. So again, got to be hard, to have that longevity. But you also get the sense that these are more than just friends too. Like this is like chosen family. When people talk about that, like they say, This is my chosen family. I think that's what this band is really made of. Also the gang vocals on this really make you feel like you're right there on the floor at a show with them. The band is the Bouncing Souls. The song is Manthem, and it's off of the album How I Spent My Summer Vacation.
I like this song a lot.
You like it a lot? Did you like it enough to pick it?
I didn't pick it.
All right.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is the name Manthem, but I think for the time when it came out, there was less of a connotation to that.
Sure.
So it's all good. There's also a woman version of it now too that came out last year.
Is that right? Of this same song?
Yeah, it's
by the Bouncing Souls.
No, it's like a super group of girls, but I think super group of girls. I think it's someone from Bad Cop, and maybe I can't remember the other members, but it's just like a play on it. It's a cover, but they changed it to girl stuff. It's good. Anyway, that's enough ranting on my part. And
raving.
Raving. It's ranting and raving.
Yeah, it was both of them, Mike, not just one.
The next band is a band that I'm really new to, but I've fallen in love with them, and I don't even know if they're around anymore. The band is called The Arrivals. Do you know The Arrivals?
I don't think so.
And the album is Volatile Molotov, and the song is called Simple Pleasures in America. Which is the theme of the song is similar, like just a simpler time. And that's what, like, I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with friends per se, but just like, again, that simpler time and enjoying, like forgetting about all the shitty stuff and just enjoying the simple pleasures in life and being friends with someone and just like even grabbing coffee with somebody or like hanging out or going to a show is just like one of those simple pleasures that we should all take more time to do. And it's hard. But the Arrivals were a punk band from Chicago, and they play the kind of punk rock that I think is synonymous with that Midwest, kind of like that working class punk rock. And we picked this song because Kyle Kanon had it on an Instagram story, and I fell in love with it and checked out the album. It's really good. It kind of, again, like I said, it hits on the feeling that your friends can get you focused on those simple things in life and make you feel great. And like I said, hanging out with your friends is really one of those simple pleasures, and it can help you forget about the drag that life can sometimes be. And that's why I went with it.
Nice. Manthem, Bouncing Souls, and
The Arrivals, Simple Pleasures in America.
I was alone, I decided to get up, decided to
Mike, did you have a hard time sometimes sifting through or differentiating between a romantic friend song and a just a friend song as you started to go through this? Because I feel like punk rock lends itself a lot to the romantic friend or the wanting for a romantic friend song.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of that wanting of the romantic friend. Like,
right?
I feel like it's a thing for punk rock kids to probably be stuck in the friend zone.
Yeah, there was a lot of, well, I don't want to say a lot. There was a good chunk of songs though that I went through that I, got like halfway through. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this could be on the list, or I'm going to write this one down. And then it very quickly turned, there was a subtle nuance that really gave it a completely different meaning.
So wait, just to clarify, is this song one of those songs, or
no? It was
okay.
going to be. It was going to be like right up until moments before we jumped on this podcast, like maybe a half an hour before. And I gave it one more listen because I'm like, I don't really know totally what this song's about, because it was really, the song was My Buddy and Me. Okay. And the band is Death by Unga Bunga. And My Buddy and Me, like, I think of like that toy when we were kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. You know that? And then at the end it would go, My Buddy and Me, that one. So that was what was in my head. And then the whole album, because it comes on the album Heavy Male Insecurity, the whole album is kind of like about like getting jacked, like getting muscles and stuff.
Okay,
and
I thought for a second you said jacking off. I was like, what?
No, getting
Thanks,
jacked, getting jacked.
Okay.
And which relates to like the cover art and stuff too. And the like one of the first lines in it is something about like, you're so like muscly, and which made me think of like, oh, that's a good call out to like the gym rat and the couch mouse, which was a classic High Fives, moniker for quite some time. There's a t-shirt too, I think. Does that t-shirt still exist? Can the people still buy the t-shirt, Mike?
Oh yes, I could use the dollar.
The gym rat and the couch mouse. But then there's a line in it that says, you could be my queen bee and I could be your Jay-Z. And I went, oh, I don't think this is a friend. I think this is a romantic friend. And the more I listened to it, the more I decided I was really off base here. And although I do love you, Mike, I don't love you in a romantic way. And I didn't want to drop you signals that might lead you to believe that. So
you already broke up with me in a restaurant. I know you're not leading me down that path.
I made a pivot and I chose a different song. And this song is a very different song than songs about friends and muscles and gyms. This song is about friends, Mike. It's about friendship.
It should be. That's the topic.
That is the topic. I think it's easy to say that you'll be there for a pal. I think it's another thing to actually be there for a pal. Like when somebody really needs you, to actually be willing to drop everything and go and be that friend that's needed, be that friend that, will do whatever to help a buddy out. And I think we're also at that stage too in life where it's just harder to drop everything for anybody. But I think it's so important to have that one friend. Like we all really need to have that one friend. In the recent, I would say in the last year, I've had people in my life go through, being canceled and, how it was really, really hard on them. I've had friends whose marriages have fallen apart. I've had friends who have just, called it quits and ended their lives. And that has a huge impact on those who are still here. And I like to think of myself as being that friend, that would be there, that wouldn't let you down. And, when I say that I would drop everything to be there for somebody, I really do mean it. And that's really what this song's about. This song is called Don't Be a Hero, Find a Friend. It's off the album Titles, and it's by the band Red City Radio.
I didn't even think about this song. This is a good pick.
Oh, thanks, Mike. There are a couple of those here tonight.
Yeah. It's good.
Let's get another Monster Energy drink in here.
Good sentiment on that. It is sometimes hard to be a friend, and I think we're learning more and more the importance of, especially and this is going to sound stupid, and I'm sure it's not that different, but there's a male bravado of not asking your friends for help.
Totally.
Especially for our generation and older, like, oh, I don't need my friends. I can get through this. And I think it's a lot to say like, oh, fuck, things suck right now. I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I know myself over the last 10 years, I've tried to say when I need help because I'm not very good at showing my emotions. And like, I've also tried to be there for friends. And I hope that any of my friends that are listening know that I'm there for them and in that capacity. And I do tend to try to drop everything to be with them, but it's also hard. And sometimes you forget. So It's a good lesson, Nate. Good point bringing it up.
Thanks, Mike.
And now I'll get to my song. The band is the St. Catharines.
Nice.
The album's Fireworks. And the song is I'll Miss the Boys. This song is probably more about quitting a band or quitting touring. But I felt that it hit home with this episode because in the end, it really isn't about the podcast ending or anything. It's about hanging out and talking music with you, Nate. And I mean, this is a little different because I'll still text you. We're not quitting each other. I might even make more of an effort to grab coffee with you or pretend to go to a show with you. But I just think the tone and lyrics of this song really fit well for the episode because you can just see like, as you see something ending and you look back and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm totally going to miss that part of it. Like, and I'm going to miss the hanging out part. And I imagine when things end in bands and stuff, it's like, that's what you look back and you're like, well, I don't really miss like fucking playing shows. I miss like hanging out with those dudes, like traveling, or like that one time we stopped at this restaurant and someone made a joke or something like that. Like,
yeah,
that shit is like legit with like your real group of friends and stuff. Like you look back and you're like, it's not like the big things. It's not like your graduation or anything like that, or like the time someone got a job, but it's like all those fucking little nostalgic things that really hit home when you're like thinking back on your friendships. And that's, I think this song kind of hits that note.
It's getting to the feely part of the episode, Mike.
Yeah, always feely.
Yeah. I got really feely when you said, I might even put more of an effort into pretending to go to shows with you. I didn't know you could put more effort into pretending. But now I know.
maybe I'll even send you the poster in a text form and be like, we should go to this, instead of being like, hey, check out, these guys are coming. Are you going to commit, Mike? Dude, I don't know if I can commit. That's like in 4 weeks. I can't make that.
Or that's like 4 hours. There is a show at the end of January that you still haven't gotten back to me about.
End of January?
Yeah, it's going to be sold out before we even get tickets.
What show is it?
We'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
I like this album a lot. I really like the St. Catharines. I really like this album, Fireworks. Was this their last one? This was the end of the road? I
don't think so. I think they had one more after, but I'm not. I think you introduced me to them actually, maybe even on the podcast. Like I'd always heard their name, and I saw them pop up on the Fat Records, and at that point, it would have been the point where I wasn't listening to stuff on Fat Records, like specifically because I was just being snobby about it.
Right.
And I love them. Like they're so good, and I like all the spin-offs and everything. So
yeah. Don't Be a Hero, Find a Friend, Red City Radio, and
the St. Catharines, I'll Miss the Boys.
I don't mean to seem rude, but a lot of our friends go back to the best true. The right way, oblivion, but I didn't last on the long run home. Out of California into Mexico, I just wanna be alone. Past through Oklahoma, straight to New Orleans.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for listening and participating in our little podcast. Like Nate said at the beginning, this thing is a lot more than just our podcast and everything. And we really appreciate anybody that listens and anybody that's joined in our community. And yeah, thank you for the lists. Thank you for the comments on episodes. Those all mean the world to both of us. Thank you to the WhatsApp group for everything you guys do. I think you know how important you've been to this whole thing. And a giant thank you to Nate for doing this podcast over the last 8 or 9 years with me. It's been a gnarly ride. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this with you, Nate. I really can't say enough good things about what you and doing this has meant to me. I know you may come back, but until then, I wish you nothing but the best. And I'm sure all our listeners feel the same way.
Thanks to you, Mike. Thanks to you for asking me to do this with you 9 years ago. You know, I remember that phone call, just like, hey, what do you think about starting a podcast? And I was super pumped to do something like that with you. And I mean, you were probably one of the very few, if not the only people that I could even think of doing something like that with, because of your vast knowledge in music and just the friendship that we have and had too at the time. And, you know, I think about, we've been friends since high school, and we've had, you know, some time that got kind of stolen in the middle there. And then we kind of we found each other again years later, and, you know, started that friendship again. And, you know, these last 9 years, I feel like this is the closest that we've ever been as friends. And we've kind of unlocked this friendship that I have with nobody else and could have with nobody else. So I'm super grateful for that. I'm super grateful to have had this opportunity for us to just, you know, build this friendship in a completely different way, and super grateful to all the friends that we've been able to make through doing this podcast. You know, there's a group of friends on the WhatsApp chat. There's people that have come and gone off of that. There's people that have just, you know, emailed or messaged us. and I'm super grateful for all of that as well.
And please stick around, give it a shot without Nate. I know it's gonna suck without him for a bit because he really does do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Change is good. We all need change.
Yeah. Should we get to these last songs?
Let's do it. Let's do the last songs. So for this song, it's convenient, really, that this episode coincides with Christmas, because this song is a favorite Christmas song in our house. But it also talks about friendship and friends. See how those two are coming together, Mike?
Friendship and friends?
And Christmas.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, friendship and friends. Real fucking clever, dude.
The same thing. No, and Christmas. We're going to put Christmas in on it too, because it's December right now. We're moments away from Christmas happening, right?
That's what the calendar shows me.
Yeah. So this song is called All I Want for Christmas Is to Rage with My Friends. And it comes from the EP, which I don't think it's an EP. It's only 3 songs. A 7-inch,
Sure.
a single with a bonus track. I don't know. Piebald presents to you a musical Christmas adventure. So this is the first and only thing that Piebald has recorded since their last album came out in 2007, entitled Accidental Gentleman. So this 3-song, 7-inch EP was recorded in 2019. So quick math, 12 years later. 12 years later, Mike, they haven't recorded anything in between, but they've largely stayed broken up. And they've done a bunch of reunion style shows and at least one reunion tour. But I think the breakup was amicable. Like, I think it was like this. I think it was very much just, life got in the way. And they decided, you know what, maybe this is time to just shut her down for a little while. And so that's what they did. And like I say, they've done a couple of tours in there, probably not going to record much more music, but they did do something in 2019 when this came out. And the thing I like about this song is, I think, again, it really relates to my life and really our group of friends too. It wasn't long ago, maybe a week or two ago, that our friend group was trying to plan something the other day for the holidays, and within no time, it became overcomplicated, and then it just goes away. And that's pretty indicative of like Christmas time almost every year. And I love the simplicity of the plan of just getting together in this song, of just doing it. It doesn't have to be a big plan. It doesn't have to, we don't have to worry about who's going to come and who's not going to come. It just happens. And that's what I really like about it. So that's what we're going out on, Mike. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends.
Can we rage against the machine too?
No, we do not rage against the machine anymore.
Okay.
We've stopped doing that.
All right.
The machine won.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Sure did. Okay, so my song here is the one I felt odd about picking, that I didn't think you'll like. I felt odd about picking this song because I can't tell how I feel about the band. The band is Petey. The song is Don't Tell the Boys. And the album is Lean Into Life. I do know that when I turn this song on, it makes me feel like singing along really loud. And I'm pretty sure I won't like the rest of Petey's work, but I do love the lyrics to the song. And for the purpose of this episode, it captures how sharing with your friends is important. Basically what you were saying before about how important it is to be there for your friends. And sometimes it's hard, but you do have those special bonds with friends. And to top it off, I love that they bring up they were watching the OC, which is something Nate will never do, and we'll never find out if he's a Ryan or a Seth. But I would say he's kind of a Ryan, I think. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what he is. Maybe he's a Sandy. Anyway, I also like that the song is very Spanish love songsy for some reason. When you listen to it, let me know if you think that's accurate or if I'm just crazy thinking that. But yeah, it's just a great song to turn up, and I just love the lyrics to it. Can't tell you much more about the band, to be honest. I should have done some research, but I didn't. Have you listened to the song? I think maybe you sent me this on Instagram, them singing it live, or maybe it was Justin. I don't know, somebody did. But in typical Mike fashion, I had to also break the rules and add one more song. So Nate, I'm gonna make your life hard for just one more episode.
All right.
And my bonus track is Johnny Unitas.
Wow.
Off their 10-year reunion EP back in the day.
Wow.
It's your own song, so I bet this is going to make your edit a little bit extra awkward. And maybe you can speak more to it. But I feel like this song touches on our group of friends and nostalgia of our group of friends in particular. And I also love that you mentioned the Slurpee incident in the song. And the Slurpee incident, for anybody who doesn't know, is in high school, I had a car with T-roofs. And for some of you younger people, you may not know what a T-roof is, but it's basically like a convertible with where your windows on the top come off.
Not just a car, Mike. It was a Trans Am.
It wasn't a Trans Am. It was a ZX. Okay. Come on, man. I didn't have a Trans Am. I wish I had a Trans Am. But that was my car. And we'd gone to get Slurpees at lunch, as we did many a times. And there was a 64-ounce Slurpee. Now, Nathan was in the car behind me with a group of friends and proceeded to launch.
Okay, hold on. You always leave this part out. We were playing Garbage Wars, which was a game that we would play in cars, and we would drive around through alleys, and we would pick up people's bags of garbage and bring them into the car with us, and then we would go through the bags sometimes and launch things out of the bags at the other car that was part of our friend group, or we would throw the whole bag of garbage at the other friend group's car.
But not often while driving.
Yeah, while driving.
Okay. Not at school.
Sometimes.
Okay. Anyway, Nate hurled said Slurpee from the car, and in my head, this is in pure slow motion, it bounces off the front of the window and proceeds to fall right into our laps. And our friend Brett was in the front seat and I was in the driver's side, and there was 64 ounces of grape Slurpee in my car. And I was a very angry person. A very, very angry person.
I love that you remember it was grape too.
And I didn't blame Nate for the first day. There was this fuckhead kid that I thought that I would, and I was going to beat the shit out of him. Like, I was so angry. I was ready. And Nate's a big dude. Like, if anybody knows Nate's way bigger than me. And he was, what I would say, scared that I was going to find out it was him.
Sure. You saw red. See, I still think, even looking back on it now, I still think it was fair game. I think it was unfortunate. And it definitely was not like, that was a 1 in a million shot.
Oh, the fact that you made that shot's fucking impressive.
Like, the way I saw it, because the way it jumped
in was perfect.
Oh, it couldn't have been better. Like,
no.
From behind watching it came out, it went over top of the back of your car, and then it sat like on the T roof, like it sat on the T for a second. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like I couldn't have aimed that any better. And then it was like just the vibration in the car. It slowly just tipped over and dumped all
and this is why I didn't
grape.
think you did it, because I didn't think you had that kind of skill.
Yeah. Now you know. Now you know.
Horace Grant came to play. Anyway, that gets name dropped in this and a number of other things. The name game, Carpenters Union Hall shows. I don't know what else. Is there anything else about that song you would like to say about our friendship?
I mean, it was I had such a great time writing that song because, our band had had been through some things and we had taken a break, and I don't think we ever anticipated ever getting back together. And the 3 members that started the band got back together 10 years after the band broke up. And it was something so organic about it. Like, it wasn't forced. We just kind of found ourselves in a jam space, jamming again. And that was, I think, the first song that we wrote again was Back in the Day. And it was a lot of fun to reflect on that time. And I don't know, like, still sometimes it gives me those goosebumps listening to that song, to just reflect on, you know, even having a 64-ounce Slurpee dumped on your lap, there's something kind of special about it, you know? Like, I'm glad that a lot of those things kind of grabbed at you, like in the way that, like, you know, you recognized or picked up on those little references throughout the song, because they're kind of like little Easter eggs for all our friends, right?
Mm-hmm. So I felt like it was a good one to end this little run on with you, Nate. So it's a little bit extra editing for you, but I think you can do it.
You're a real sweetheart, Mike. You're a real sweetheart. Thanks for including that one. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends, Piebald and
Petey, Don't Tell the Boys, and Johnny Unitas, Back in the Day. Thank you again all for listening. You can find us on Instagram or our website, highfives.ca. I know the future is murky, but I will be back with something. I haven't figured out just what it will be, but the podcast will continue in some capacity, and I hope you stick with it. Stay cool, be excellent to each other, and thanks again, Nate. Love you, dude.
Love you, Mike.
It's Christmas time, still bloated from Thanksgiving, and time is quick, so I wanna hang with the living. It's Christmas time, I don't care if it's a white one, if my friends are there, this Christmas will be the right one. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. I don't want some big old honking present, and I don't want turtle doves calling birds or pheasants, and I don't want the uncle that gave me the blender. But what I want is for my friends to rage together. Yeah! All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. Yeah. Dear Santa, what I want for Christmas is not so much a gift as it is a gathering. I want to get all my friends together, same time, same place. We got it from there. Oh, take it easy on Stewart this year. Thank you, Santa. I believe.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Looks like I got a letter here from a boy named Travis who wants to rage with his friends. You know, Travis, we can do that with the majestical majesty of song. And they'll be here during the next chorus. Until then, enjoy some of these tasty licks to take you to the bridge. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Sing them one.
All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends.
Andy, help them out.
All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends.
Luke, take us out.
All I want for Christmas is to rage with my friends. All I want for Christmas is to rage. disappointed this year because I'm staying at this party.
Don't tell the boys that you've been crying in my arms. Yeah, I believe it's sharing season for the feelings in our hearts. Come on now, sign the dotted line. Go ahead and join my little call. We'll talk about how childhood trauma's got our actions as adults. Slam the bottle on the counter. Take this thing down shot for shot. You know I've made a lot of best friends. You're the best friend that I've got. And now we're howling at the moon. Hell yeah, we're making lots of noise. You know I hate to say I love you, but there ain't no other choice. Don't tell the boys. Don't tell the boys that we done spent the week inside and watched 3 seasons of the OC till Marissa fucking dies. And no times I'm more like Ryan, you're a little more like Seth. You're so quick-witted when we talk about what happens after death. Heard your brother's in the desert, he's been fighting for our freedom. He's been chasing nameless faces ever since he finished rehab. And we support the individual without support the whole damn complex. It's either shooting guns or heroin. At least one of them paid for college. Oh shit! Don't tell the boys that we just had our little talk. You know, in tougher times, just guys decide we'd rather walk the walk. I'll always be your lending ear. I'll be your elephant best friend. Don't tell the boys we got each other, and I'll love you till the end. Don't tell the boys. Don't tell the boys. Don't tell the boys. Don't tell the boys. Could it have been so long ago? Remember the first show? Oh, we were members of the Union Hall. Girls in between us, stacked in a row. Remember when you held on to me? started stories followed by pain. Remember when you would hold on to me, I would hold on to you. You wouldn't let me be. Remember when you would hold on to me, I would hold on to you. It's something we couldn't see. Making phone calls left to fate. Remember the heartache. Liberating the little ones. It's all just a memory. Remember too late. Remember when you would hold on to me, I would hold on to you. You wouldn't let me be. Remember when you would hold on to me, I would hold on to you. It's something we couldn't see. Remember when Remember when Remember when
I'll do my best.
All right. Do your best, Mike. That's all I can ask.
That's the plan. We made it this far.
You're a real Boy Scout. Do your best. Or is that Cubs, maybe?
Is that the Boy Scout motto? I was never a scout. Do I look like I was a fucking scout?
Yeah.
Can't even. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Fancy boy in the forest.
All right, here we go.